Do 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 do. Isn't it great? You can have a 102 megapixel camera and you could upload ultra low resolution shots to Instagram. This isn't Instagram, but you know what I mean? This is with the GFX 100, by the way. I still don't have mine. I'm waiting to get a hold of mine. The money is burning a hole in my pocket, and it's all the money I've got, but I've been saving up for a long time for that. Anyway, I currently have both GFX cameras currently, the 50S and the 50R. Fujifilm was right. This is an embarrassing admission, and of course Nikon people are going to want to murder me for saying this. And I still have all my Nikon gear and all my Nikon cameras. I'm just waiting for Nikon to come out with something that's worth buying. Let's see what the Nikon D6 is. I know they're going to come out with a dual card slot Pro version of the Z series. Of course, those Z lenses still suck ass. They just suck dead bunny rabbits. Those lenses just suck. Sorry, but they suck. I got a lot of lenses, and I know good lenses, and I know great lenses, and I know shitty lenses, and those ain't good lenses. They're just not. They're like, you remember those gumball machines? You'd stick a quarter in, you turn it, and you get out this piece of crap made in China inside one of those plastic bubbles. Yeah, something like that, except a little bit larger. They're not that bad, they're not far from it. Fujifilm was right. People say, oh my God, I'd be so happy if Fujifilm made a full-frame camera. Isn't that nice? There's a lot of full-frame camera competition out there. Fujifilm was incredibly intelligent. They saw an untapped market. I've already had, what did I have? I had nearly 2 weeks with the GFX 100, and I tested the shit out of that camera. Tested the piss out of it. Took an enormous amount of images with the GFX 100. I've done the most extensive reviews on Earth, and certainly the most extensive reviews on YouTube of the GFX 100, and can't wait to get mine. But I don't grab for my full-frame cameras anymore. D850, what about that? I know someone says, what about your D850? That's the best DSLR ever made. It sure the hell is. But when you're left with a choice of wanting to travel light and easy and take amazing shots, like a guy I know, Benjamin Kinerick, a world-famous fashion photographer, shoots for Vogue, Elle, blah, 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 blah. He's got several Fujifilm X-T3s. He does incredible work for them with his X-T3. Now he's doing it with his GFX, so he's using both systems. But point being is that, and this is the X-T30, and I have an X-T3, I just don't have it out here right now. I just don't grab for any full-frame camera anymore. It's like, well, why wouldn't you? I know someone's like, why don't you? The D850 is incredible, and that's not changed. The point is that there's this, and of course the one thing that Fujifilm does not have covered, undeniably so, is for ultra hardcore sports action wildlife. And I only do wildlife for fun, and ultra hardcore sports where you're whipping out the 600mm f4 and a Nikon D5. And of course Nikon will never miss the Olympics next year, so they're going to have the D6 out before the Olympics hits. You know, Fujifilm doesn't have it covered there, and Fujifilm knows that. You know, D850, Nikon D500, Nikon D5, Nikon D6 that's coming out. The ultra huge ass hardcore glass, Fujifilm does not have it covered for that. They don't. Or ultra hardcore wildlife, 600mm f4. They don't have it covered for that. Let's not blow smoke up anybody's skirts here, girlfriend. Fujifilm does not have that covered. But I don't do that. I do wildlife for fun and relaxation. I know some people, and I don't know of anybody that's making money in wildlife photography. I mean, there's about that many people that are, but not many. Even I've talked to real National Geographic photographers. One of them is famous, not Steve McCurry, I know who you're thinking of, but it's another guy. He was selling a couple of his old Nikons, and I talked to him on the phone. And, yeah, even National Geographic photographers, I mean, that's not like, they're not making an income and supporting their families off National Geographic. So-and-so waited 500 miles in the snake-infested waters to take a picture of the rare speckled-breasted Zimbabwe woodpecker. Those guys aren't making ends meet for National Geographic. So I don't really know of anybody that's making ends meet doing that. I know there's some, they're doing workshops and other stuff like that, but who cares? Point being is that I saw on a lot of these photography forum boards a lot of BS. People, Fujifilm needs a full-frame camera. Well, they really don't. I mean, I've got piles and piles of cameras tons of Nikon. I got 8 Nikon Pro cameras and 9 Fujifilm cameras. And if I'm not grabbing for the X-T3 or the X-T30, I'm grabbing for the GFX. People think that, well, full frame does it. Well, with the GFX 100, and let's just ignore the price. Say, well, I'm not going to ignore the price, $10,000. Let's just ignore the price. I'm just talking about what they've got. That camera can do what no other medium format camera can. It's a game changer medium format camera. It's not my opinion, it's a fact. Including the current GFX cameras. Their X-T3, their X-T30. I have the X Pro 2, which I just updated the firmware on. And Fujifilm does have it nailed. There's a missing slot there where almost none of you, including me, are doing that shit. What is that? Ultra hardcore sports action wildlife. Now, Fujifilm does have the 200mm f2. I do have that for the sidelines of basketball and football. Same as Nikon's 200mm f2, which I also happen to have that damn lens, which is the exact same price as the Fuji, $6,000. Essentially, not sale price, but other than that tiny sector, with the evolution of the world's first, fast autofocusing, super broadened utility and versatility medium format camera, the world's first, Fujifilm does have it covered. They do. Like I said, the only thing that's missing is a narrow spectrum there, a bandwidth for ultra hardcore sports action wildlife, which almost nobody's doing. Plenty of people are. It's like, yeah, buy yourself a D850 or a D5 and a 600mm f4. And, I don't have the D5. I hate that camera, but I got that stuff too. But I just don't see I'm just not going, like, later in August. I'm going to head to Florida. I'm going to bring the GFX camera. Depends on which GFX. If I can get the GFX 100 in time, I'll bring that one. If not, the GFX 50R, which is my favorite digital camera of all time. But Fujifilm was right. They told people years ago, it's like, we don't need this. We got to have it covered with medium format and crop sensor. They are right. It's not my opinion that they're right. They are right. Like I said, the only instance you can bring up is for ultra hardcore sports action. Someone's going to make an argument, well, it's better for wedding photography, have a full frame camera. And also too, my boss requires I shoot full frame for photojournalism and for PJ jobs, photojournalism jobs. This is also true. The totality of those two niches is very tiny. Fujifilm literally does have it covered with medium format and crop sensor. They do. Even I was skeptical of that like 3 years ago, just as the GFX was breaking in. The first one, the GFX 50S. So that's a valid statement that Fujifilm made that I heard a lot of people say, they didn't make a full frame camera. They can't compete until they make a full frame camera. Why? Why? If you want to do that ultra hardcore sports action wildlife, yeah, buy yourself a D850 or D5 and a 600 f4 or a 300 2.8 or a 400 2.8 or a 500 f4. I understand that. I damn well do. I have that glass. I don't have my 600mm f4 anymore. I just sold that not too long ago to help pay for the GFX 100. This is a GFX 100 image, by the way. The point is, yeah, it's like, get to the point. You always talk too much. Damn it, you tattooed monkey. Okay, so I do. I just don't grab for, as much as I love the D850, it's as much as it now as it ever was, I just don't grab for it. Well, that's going to get a lot of hate from a lot of people. All the Nikon fanboys are going to be, downvote, downvote, downvote. There's a lot of shadow recovery on this one. That was the 100, 200mm in the GFX 100. But Fujifilm was right, and that's the ultimate point of this video. And a lot of people were scoffing at that. It's like, did you really think Fujifilm didn't brainstorm this shit for years? With a team of people sending out smoke signals between their ears thinking about this? They did. And like I said, even I was skeptical of this claim of theirs a few years ago. Not very skeptical. I knew they were right in giving it deep thought and consideration. I had no idea they'd come out with a game changer camera because, you know, medium format has never been fast. Never. Now it is. World's first. World's first IBIS. World's first crossover medium format camera. Period. It's kind of like the dawn of the SUV. You had trucks, you know, which were for redneck goobers and, you know, hillbillies. And then you had cars for normal people. Someone's going to hate me for saying that. And it's like, you know, once in a while the normal person wanted to haul shit. You know, and sometimes the guy with the gas-guzzling American-made turd muffin, I'll never buy an American-made piece of shit car. Never, by the way. He wanted to have a small vehicle that didn't guzzle a ton of gas. Like, what about the perfect melding of the two? That was the SUV. Like the most popular vehicles in America, by the way, are SUVs. Toyota RAV4. Everybody's got a friggin' SUV. Porsche's even got one. It's like it does everything. It's got great gas mileage, long distance, kind of like a car, but it also can haul crap, including your rugrats and everything. That's why everybody owns an SUV. I own an SUV, a RAV4. The GFX is the world's first SUV, except for cameras. It is. So, wait for it. Wait for it. FUJIFILM. Right. When am I going to get my GFX 100? I'm still waiting for that thing. Waiting to buy it. I got my money. I got the money. I can't find a GFX 100. There's none to be had anywhere. Everybody also said that the Fuji would not sell a bunch of those $10,000 cameras. Well, it turns out the demand is like in outer space for the GFX 100. It is. They themselves said that. And it is. Can't be found anywhere, really. Try to find one. There might be one somewhere, but I'd like to know where it is. Let me know if you find a GFX 100 for sale. A new one, okay? Thanks. Bye.